Their numbers are growing, and this is going to be a problem. Transports of mostly factory new tractor units. This special transport vehicle has loaded 4 tractor units at once. This one, 3. Some forwarding agencies just accept that they have to infringe the legal requirements. And nowadays permanent exceptional authorizations have become the rule. They are rolling over the roads at the expense of road safety, road damage and those forwarding agents still compliant with the law. In East Hesse too, the consequences are noticeable. Many bridges, for example the A7 from Fulda to Würzburg, need to be renovated or even rebuilt, such as the Grenzwaldbrücke. Road wear by a vehicle increases exponentially with its axle load, and loads over 6 tons increase wear enormously. But roads are not built for excessive axle loads. Insufficient means of control and low fines make it easy for the black sheep in the haulage industry. Reputable forwarding agents are losing out if they comply with the required weights and dimensions. The 3G Competence Center in Fulda has taken up this issue. The first European expert meeting on special transport succeeded in getting the various players around the table. In his speech, road safety consultant Mario Döring addressed the legal and technical requirements to utility vehicle transports.
Today we have initiated a European dialogue. We've had guests from all over Europe. People from Poland and Austria have come. Of course, Germany is represented in greater numbers. A large number of police officers from all over the country have come today, and transport companies are participating too. And it is important that they all talk to each other.
In many cases, exceptional authorizations would not be necessary if, instead of special combinations, special trailers were used, which have neither excessive height nor excessive length, nor even any overweight, and thus no reason for an exception would occur.
The point of these exceptional authorizations is that they allow excessively large and excessively long freights to be transported. If, however, this type of freight can be divided, there is often no need for these authorizations. For instance, I could transport one fewer truck tractor unit, then I wouldn't need such an authorization because I wouldn't have to piggyback them in a nested manner. And then I don't have any excessive height or excessive length.
Besides the great number of police officers from all over the Federal Republic, authorities, forwarding agents and lawyers from Germany, France, Belgium and Poland also participated in the intensive discussions. The speech by senior civil servant Thomas Herkens of the Federal Ministry of Transport and Digital Infrastructure was highly anticipated. Herkens gave a comprehensive insight into the administrative regulations and took many comments and suggestions with him to Bonn. The forwarding agent's argument that a higher loading factor would have a lower environmental impact and be more economic was not supported by Herkens. Herkens emphasized that economic interests had to be disregarded and that exceptional authorizations affected the general public. Legal limit values had been established to be observed. Tolerances were not allowed. During the expert meeting, it also became clear that the granting of exceptional authorizations in great numbers was already a problem, especially when they are valid as permanent authorizations, thus allowing permanent infringements. The order and safety to be guaranteed for the road user takes priority over economic interests. This is also confirmed by road safety consultant Mario Döring and retired police chief superintendent Herbert Bensing.
This touches a sore point, showing where things go wrong and where they need to be improved.
The simplification by an electronic administrative procedure called WEMAX presupposes the reliability of the applicants, since this procedure inevitably brings new possibilities of manipulation.
Now it has to be said that the practices of approval authorities in granting authorizations for heavy load and oversized transport vary greatly throughout Germany. When I see in the federal ministry that my administrative regulation is interpreted in such different ways as it is currently the case, then things need to be improved here.
As experts have observed, these possibilities of manipulation are often exploited since verification by the approval authority whether an exceptional authorization is necessary for the actually planned transport cannot be expected. It is apparently not a matter of injudicious individual actions, but a planned and organized approach, purely given advantage to individual competitors.
As Winfried Uth has explained, this has given rise to an uncontrolled development we have to gain control of urgently if we do not want to face serious disadvantages for traffic safety.
Up to 4 tractor units are transported using special authorizations. Obviously, there's also an uncontrolled development regarding special authorizations.
In Deutschland eigentlich nicht sein.
These special authorizations are normally not supposed to be granted in Germany. It is legally impossible to permit transports of 4 vehicles as oversized and heavy load transports. However, we see how such authorizations are granted and such transports are carried out. Here, the Federal Ministry of Transport must make improvements and tighten up the regulations to give them legislative force, and if necessary, they must penalize approval authorities. I don't see any other way. I don't want to insinuate that we are dealing with corruption here, but I dare claim that there is often a problem of a lack of expertise.
Applicants and forwarding agents who do not comply with the law should therefore be considered as unreliable. Exceptions must not be arbitrarily exploited, the experts said.
It
cannot be that those who regularly breach the rules gain a significant competitive advantage. They must fear a high risk of being discovered and penalized and having an appropriately heavy fine imposed.
Approval authorities will now be invited in greater numbers to a further expert meeting. The first European expert meeting on special transports has initiated this discussion. One solution is the shift to rail transport. Appropriate portable loading devices exist, so this is no longer a technical problem. Also, with regard to multimodality as well as the climate protection targets of the Federation by 2050, this practice should move into focus. Granting of an exceptional authorization presupposes an exceptional case. However, as long as the practice of granting exceptional authorizations for special transport continues to be too obliging, there will be little change on Germany's motorways.
Osthessen News. Sehen, was bewegt.